welcome back to the developing city of Leonor. So, I have this very pretty and organized greedy road layout that I have built a couple of episodes ago, and it has been emptying for all of this time, and I think it's finally time for us to start addressing this and start building some houses here. I will build this area progressively. I think I'm gonna start with this area alongside the hospital that we have built on the past episode, which is looking quite neat, I must say. And we're gonna start working here, and eventually we will start extending towards this area. Even though we already have some roads and neighborhoods, I need to extend this road layout and fill out these areas over here, in between the highway and also the avenue, and also in between this collector and also this avenue as well. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll meet you guys shortly. Alright. I am enjoying the look of this already. I have filled this area with a road layout, and I gotta say it's pretty standard, but I think it will get the job done. There are some hilly areas that we will probably have to address in the future, namely this over here. I don't really like how these roads are bending and sloping. This is going to be very problematic, but we can fix it when we're building this area. But as for the general shape, I think it's pretty much acceptable, with this road curving alongside the avenue to maximize the zoning space, and the rectangular grid that we have over here gradually bending and adjusting and adapting to this new shape. Another thing that I've done was extending this avenue towards this side of the highway with a tunnel, and I've also built this long avenue that eventually will be used to extend our neighborhoods. I think today I'm just gonna work on this area here where we have just built a road layout, but eventually I think I will want to extend the neighborhood that I'm creating here towards this side as well. And I've also created this bridge, which I think looks really cool. I've also built another radio mast over here to provide some more internet speed. So let's take a look at how it is right now. Oh, and look at this. Mamma mia, all green. This is what we want. Of course, this is gonna degrade as soon as I start placing some more buildings here and start upping the density. It is just a matter of keep adding these things. As for other services, eventually this is going to be a neighborhood, so I'm going to place another elementary school somewhere around here. But there's also some other things that I need to take care of. The first one is actually police, because this area is not very famous when it comes to that. We only have 2 police stations in the entire city, so perhaps this is going to be a good location for another one. And we have a couple of options here. I was thinking about this Eastern European police station because it fits this area super well, this little square. with no wasted space, so I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So let's place it right here. and we should start see some cars leaving to start patrolling. Or maybe not, perhaps it's their day off or something. Another thing that I want to start working on is actually on the city's attractiveness. 2 videos ago we have built our train system and also our bus system to make it easier for people to travel along the city. And now we need to give people a reason to come into the city, and we can do so by raising the city's attractiveness and to incentivize the tourists to come and visit us. And at the moment the city attractiveness is way too little, and we're only attracting about 21 tourists per month, which is nothing. So perhaps it's a good idea for us to start building some facilities that will actually help us walk into this direction. I'm not gonna turn this area into a tourist destination because this is mostly a residential neighborhood. Eventually in the future I will build the downtown of the city, perhaps over here next to the river, and this is gonna be the main touristic downtown area for the city. But I think regardless of that we can start placing some buildings, and I think there's one that's particularly fitting for this area, which is the botanical garden. Let's see if I can find it. And I think I'll have to delete some roads to place it. I think I'm gonna place it right next to this avenue, right in front of the city's entrance. So let's place it right here. Okay, so this is gonna be a good foundation for this. Okay, and with this now we just have to start building around it, and we can start building the first houses of this new layout. As I've mentioned a couple of episodes ago, I want to transition this mid-density into low density somewhere at around here, and this layout is dedicated to suburbs and to low density housing, and for that we need to make kind of a gradient and select the defining point as to where our mid-density starts turning into low density, and I think this area is going to be very suitable for that. So what I think I'm gonna do now is populate this neighborhood. I think this is still gonna be mid-density, perhaps we can also make some mid-density over here, but then all of this is gonna be low-density residential. So let's start working on that. I think the first thing that I wanna do is adjust these roads and get rid of these 90-degree angles. Perhaps we can curve these ends just like I've done over here. I think the houses bending alongside this road looks really cool, so perhaps I'm going to replicate this here, and I will meet you guys in a minute. Okay, so quick progress update on the development of this area. So I have managed to reserve this district or this block to mid-density, as I've mentioned, as well as this little block over here as well, right next to the police station. I think that's appropriate. The zoning pattern is the same that I've been using for the entire region by mixing this European and also North American row housing with these 2x4s North American mixed housing, which I think gives it a very good mix between buildings and also building variety. I've also filled this entire thing with low density residential. Some of these buildings are still being built, of course. And overall, I think we have a very good structure. Over here, I've also provided a pathway access that goes underneath the highway and eventually goes through here, through this winding road, and connects to the existing pathway network. I have also added these sound barriers, which kind of serves as a protection between the cars and also the pedestrians that go alongside this area. And I've added some interesting features, namely this safety barrier that goes alongside the highway, for protection, because this is, as you can see, a very steep and dangerous hill. And I've done the same thing over here, to kind of create this elevated infrastructure, which I believe gives it more personality and also more character to the existing roads. What I've done here with adding the sound barrier, I think it's something that I'll have to do over here as well, because these houses are way too close to the highway and they deserve some kind of sound protection. And I know this is something that a lot of you guys don't like, seeing houses right next to the highway. I know, realistically speaking, these houses would be cheaper than the houses over here, for example, so you get what you pay for. You don't like it, don't buy the house, simple as that. It's actually even better than living under a bridge, so keep that in mind. Then over here we have this elementary school, and as I've mentioned, I had to adjust the terrain of this area because it was super hilly and super off balance, and now it's much better and much more level. We have this slopey road connecting these two layouts, but I think this is super acceptable, and there's nothing zoned here anyway. Addressing signature buildings in particular, just a small note. If you recall, a couple of episodes ago I had a pub placed right on this collector road, which I even said it wasn't very fitting, so I relocated it towards this side, right on this road, with a view towards the lake. So this is the particular pub that I'm referring to. And I think this is a much more suitable location, and in its place I have built this UK medium petrol station, which I think it's much more fitting. This is again another signature building, and these are super cool because they provide buffs to the entire city. I have also built another variation of this pub right about over here. As you can see, it has even the same name. This one is slightly larger, and I've built it on this road alongside the natural park. Now there are a couple of things that I want to do. One of them is about the bus lines. Now if you recall, a couple of episodes ago we have built this circular bus line, and now that this area is developed, I think it's time for us to add some more stops on this line, which is super convenient because we already have the line set up, so we just have to place the stops. So I think I'm going to place one here, perhaps another one here, and now finally another one right in front of the elementary school. Now we just have to provide the stops. So one here, another one here, and finally another one here. And eventually in the future I'll have to rework the bus lines to cover these newly built areas, but for the time being I'm gonna keep it as they are. Now another thing that I want to do is actually relocate this botanical garden. Initially I've placed it here, and I've also built this pathway network with the buildings surrounding it, but I think I want to relocate it towards this location here because there's ample more space here, and perhaps I want to do something special with it. So let's do that. Let's just pick it up and place it over here, and now we can delete this pathway network, and I think I will rebuild this entire thing and zone with some low density housing as well. There's also some other things that I should do. For example, I need to remove these guardrails. I have initially placed them to condition the zoning, to define which roads we would be able to zone in, but we don't need those rails anymore. Oh, and we have another one over here as well. Let's get rid of it. But now with these changes made, I wanna keep working on this area, perhaps start working on the beautification, because as you guys know, I like trees, and trees make everything look much better. You just have to look at the contrast between this district and also this district here, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. These roads also need some trees and also grass on the sides. I need to define which ones I want to do that. So yeah, let's start working on that. Ah, yes, will you look at that? This is exactly what I was talking about. Look how pretty this is. It almost makes me wanna live here alongside the peasants, and not in my multi-million-dollar mansion that was given to me as the mayor of the city. Overall, I'm really satisfied with what we've done. Again, I have built the sound barriers here in this highway, as I've mentioned, to give some sound protection and isolate the noise a little bit more, and I've also placed a bunch of trees here that will help with that. Then we have some areas with these cool trees on the side. I think the effect is super cool. You can see it, a lot of streets with those trees on the sides, and overall I think we are doing a good job with this area. But now what I want to do is work in this area right next to the botanical garden. As I've mentioned, I want to do something special with this building, and rightfully so, because it's having a huge effect in our city. So if I take a look at the tourism tab, we can see that just this building alone has raised the city attractiveness to 48. So it was somewhere at around this white area, and now it's right in the middle. And the number of tourists per month has increased from 21 to 92, which is super significant, and you can see the bright green area alongside this botanical garden, making it super desirable. And this is going to be particularly useful for the commercial buildings that are placed alongside this road, I suppose. At least in theory, that's how it's supposed to work. Now, this is a botanical garden, and I thought, why not extend the garden? Perhaps we can build a custom garden that covers this entire area. This is a triangular area, which is generally quite awkward to fill in, but maybe we can use a set of pathways and also work with the existing vegetation options to create our own custom garden that will involve this botanical garden, and I think we can create something that's really cool. So let's start working on that. I'm gonna try a couple of things, see what works best, and then I will show you the final result when I'm done. You know, this has the potential to be one of the most interesting cities I've ever done. Sure, it's not shaped like the yin-yang symbol or a treble clef, but it has unique spots of interest that makes it look super interesting. And I think this botanical garden is one of those. Overall, I am particularly satisfied with the final result. Ideally, I would connect the pathways directly to the botanical garden, but this entire thing is fenced off with its own set of bushes, so I just connect the pathway directly to the road here. But for the park itself, I think it's super cool and interesting. We have this round shape with the fountain in the middle and then a bed of bushes in this circle in the middle. This is, 3 circles. I alternated the outlines of the pathways with these yellow bushes, these alternated bushes with trees, and also these flower beds, which I think makes it super diverse and unique. Over here we have a gazebo with some park benches and also some trees where people can, sit and relax. And if we extend towards this area, we can see that we have some of the areas, or at least most of them, with this fake grass. Well, not fake grass, but manicured grass, as infrastructurists would put it. But we also have some spots without this grass texture, with just the normal grass. And this is where I've put some trees and also some bushes and made the vegetation a bit denser. Just to give it a little bit of variety. And then right here in the middle we have this stripe that transitions from bright blue flowers to not so blue flowers, which I think looks super cool. I think it's time for us to start drawing some districts, because that's something that we haven't done for a couple of episodes. So yeah, let's start doing some districts for the newly built areas. I've named some of the districts to more appropriate things, so now we have a district identifying the city hospital, the botanical garden, and also over here I also made one for the city hall as well. I've also made a district for this industrial site, right next to the natural park. I'm constantly getting these assets with chimneys that are pumping out smoke, which is something that I really do not like, and I do not want in this area. There's a citywide policy that is called Advanced Pollution Management, which I suppose would help in eliminating these types of buildings, but you have to apply it to the entire city. You don't have that kind of policy district-wide, which is super disappointing, because I might want to make some polluting industry and also non-polluting industry in the same city. And like this, I don't have any way to distinguish them. So what I have to do is simply continue demolishing these types of buildings, and hopefully the ones that are rebuilt do not have these ugly chimneys. But overall, I am enjoying the shape that this city is taking. There are some areas that still need a lot of work. I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle the transition between the rural side of the city over here and also the more developed and industrial side here. But that's something that we can keep working towards. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, take care.